Welcome, lovers of glittering mysteries and restless hearts. Welcome to the refuge where whispers become revelations and the hush between two glances says more than any press release. You have arrived once again at the warm core of secrets behind the stars. In a world that demands louder, faster, brighter, there are still a few who choose the velvet path of restraint, who let patience do the talking and let timing be the crown. And tonight, the spotlight turns to Barış Baktaş and Yağmur Yüksel, two names that have learned to dance with attention rather than be devoured by it, two artists turning silence into a weapon more powerful than any headline. Before we unspool the thread of this enigma, make sure you are part of our inner circle. Subscribe, ring the bell to catch every shift of the wind, and if this deep dive into celebrity strategy seduces your curiosity, show it with a like. And for those wishing to sit at our round table and help sustain our nightly investigations, the join and subscribe buttons are your keys to our private salon at Secrets Behind the Stars. Settle in. Breathe. Because beneath the calm surface of recent months, a current has been gathering force, and it is about to reshape the shores of their careers. To eyes that only skim the surface, Barış and Yağmur looked like model professionals keeping a respectful distance. But anyone who listens to the spaces, anyone who knows the grammar of fame, could sense a different story echoing under the floorboards. What seemed like pause was actually poise. The rumor mills agree on one point with unusual harmony: their communication did not flicker out for even a moment. Behind closed doors and away from overheated speculation, they supposedly kept their dialogue steady, deliberate, and shielded. Since last summer's hottest weeks, whispers say they began aligning their calendars with precision that borders on obsession, not leaving room for coincidence, but rather carving out an inevitable rendezvous in the months ahead. From fragments slipping out of quiet corridors, the image takes shape of a meticulous plan that fuses life and work into one current, not two separate streams. This is not a sugar-spun promise, not a dreamy agreement scribbled on the back of a napkin. This is a route map, a novel in acts, a mission with escape valves and milestones. It starts with a fleeting prelude, rises into a controlled crescendo, and aims for an announcement meant to reverberate beyond local borders, an announcement meant to be replayed and dissected. It is a plan that treats reputation as architecture and opportunity as choreography, with both hands on the metronome of public attention. The first act, sources insist, is international. Over time, Barış has woven connections that reach beyond familiar studios, shaking hands in places where new doors open, while Yağmur's partnerships with respected brands hint at a runway extending far past a single campaign. The word on the street doesn't speak of a stolen weekend or a soft-focus getaway, it speaks of something bolder. Together they appear to be assembling leverage, pooling their magnetism into a presence strong enough to choose when and where to step into the light. The idea isn't merely romance under spotlights, but a shared frontier where careers interlock and ambitions harmonize, an alliance calibrated for reach, quality, and the quiet luxury of deciding your own timing. Our faithful night watchers here at Secrets Behind the Stars, our eyes and ears, have been pointing out breadcrumbs with gleaming accuracy. You've seen it, haven't you? Post after post where the background echoes, the angles rhyme, and the timestamps flirt with each other. A cafe corner that looks uncannily alike, a skyline reflected in two different lenses that somehow feels like the same hour, a mutual friend's story that catches a laugh whispering from just outside the frame. It's as if Barış and Yağmur were leaving small signals out in plain view, daring us to assemble the jigsaw while they stroll away, smiling at the audacity of clarity disguised as coincidence. If you cracked the code already, don't be shy, the comments are your stage. And yet none of this comes with an official statement. That is the paradox at the center of their strategy, a disciplined quiet that only multiplies buzz. The speculation machine is roaring. Are they orchestrating a joint project that will twist their past chemistry into a new narrative arc? Will they step out holding not just hands, but a shared script? Some insist the page is practically written already. A confidant close to the inner circle told us with great certainty that this time the aim is heavier, wiser, designed not for a season but for a horizon. No hurry, because there is no doubt, one does not rush toward what already feels inevitable. The same voice added a crucial line, one that changed a dim suspicion into a blinking alarm: the warm-up is over. The countdown is ticking. One of the most debated details in the community of industry observers is the rumor of a date. Circled in red, boxed, and guarded. It would supposedly synchronize with new brand movements tied to Yağmur and a fresh cycle of projects for Barış, suggesting that nothing is spontaneous and everything is selected like a precious stone. This is disciplined timing, the kind you'd expect from a serious operational blueprint rather than from a flirtation with chance. Every step looks rehearsed to seem effortless, because true mastery hides effort beneath grace. Another whisper, maybe the most delicious for those who miss their shared electricity, teases a reunion on the same set. No published synopsis yet, no signatures, nothing you can wave under a camera. But what needs to be perfectly scheduled has been quietly cleared. Their availability windows allegedly mirror one another like twins. Producers who can smell a phenomenon from a corridor away are reportedly on alert, stalking the ideal moment to slide an offer over the table that neither could resist for long. Those who've observed them closely say both are changed, more measured, less impulsive, guarding a balance between feeling and ambition that looks almost meditative. And when two people who carry that balance look at the same horizon, the outline of what comes next grows sharp. So we arrive at the golden question. Have we crossed the line after which everything must be named aloud? The whisper mills hum with forecasts of an unveiling before the year bows out, or in the fresh light of the next cycle that turns calendars new. It's that specific sentence floating around, preparations are complete, that keeps fanning the spark. It's gasoline on embers that were never cold. Whatever form the reveal takes, it now seems less like if, and more like when, and like any train that keeps approaching, you start to feel the rails vibrate before you see the headlights. But there is another current beneath the surface current. It suggests the plans are wider than any two-person portrait. The claim coming from behind friendly doors is that family and a small circle of trusted allies have already been looped in, receiving a short message that sounded more like a spell than a sentence: prepare for unexpected surprises. Not a holiday. Not a quick cameo. Something heavier, something that asks people who love them to brace, to clear the decks, to anticipate a turning that will leave a permanent mark. You can see the seriousness in the way the edges are being guarded, in the way their orbit has been tightened so that nothing leaks before it's meant to shine. Experts who make a living reading images between frames point out that the most impressive part of this entire ballet is how they treat the press. They know the hunger. They know the lenses that lurk. So the strategy has reportedly included private flights arranged with chessboard cruelty, retreats distant enough to flatten curiosity, and sudden timetable shifts that scramble anyone trying to string a pattern together. But here is the irony that fame knows better than anyone: the more tightly you seal the box, the more the rattling inside makes everyone lean in. The industry is already reconfiguring itself around the possibility of them stepping into the same spotlight. Advertising partners are running projections, international brands are tracking sentiment, because the union of these two names is not only a story, it is currency. Some insiders swear the broad strokes are nailed down and all that remains are the flourishes, the last brushstrokes on a canvas still half-veiled. You can see the colors ghosting through the cloth, but you are not allowed to lift it yet. When that cloth falls, we will be front row. And make no mistake. Whether the reveal is a drama set that turns every scene into a spark, an intimate vow that seals two paths into one, or the blueprint of a shared venture that places both names above the door, it will not be timid. It will be the kind of announcement that is replayed on phones in the middle of the night, the kind that makes timelines tumble. Tell us what your heart longs to witness. Do you dream of a wedding that feels both secret and cinematic, a series that taps their pulse and lays it on the screen, or a business realm where their instincts translate into a brand of their own? Your predictions are not background noise here. Time and again, it's been the chorus of devoted fans that speaks the prophecy before anyone prints it. So write it, shout it, whisper it. What do you see coming when you close your eyes and picture Barış Baktaş and Yağmur Yüksel taking that step they have prepared so carefully? Thank you for walking the corridors of this quiet architecture with us, for reading the pauses and the side glances, for trusting the patience of the hunt. If this journey into the art of their silence has stirred you, tap like, subscribe, and consider joining our family at Secrets Behind the Stars to keep the lights on while we keep listening. And until that long-awaited signal, remember the rule that guides every great reveal. Sometimes the quietest moment in the room is not an absence of noise. It is the sound of destiny waiting to be named. Good night from Secrets Behind the Stars, where whispers learn how to speak.